got till it's gone. It'd be a paradise and put up a parking lot.
Every time Mr. Sturgeon talks about misinformation on Facebook, I believe it's directed at us because,
sure.
Let's face it, St. Cloud Water and Save St. Cloud are the only pages on Facebook really talking about the water issue. So, I find it quite ironic that Mr. Sturgeon's creating these social media boogeymen when a year ago he had this to say.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bill Sturgeon. I'm the city manager of the city of St. Cloud, and I'm responsible for the operational duties of the city. That's the job of the city manager. And I'm not pleased to have to stand here tonight. We've made some mistakes, and I apologize for that. You don't deserve the water you've been having in your area. I'm sorry. Is that good? Thank you, Mr. Cooper. We have council members that are in the audience, but I just want to say I am responsible for the day-to-day operations of this city. I became interim city manager in 2017 and immediately began working on this issue. It's a nightmare for me, and again, I want to apologize. I also want to say some things that's really unfair. Our elected officials have been accused of many things over the last several months. They've been supportive. Everything I've asked for to try to fix this problem, they provided the appropriations to do that. They've held me accountable, and here we are. Tonight, I want to give you some facts. I want to talk about where we came from, where we're at, and where we're going. And I ask you to do two things for me. Be objective. Listen to Brian Wheeler. Mr. Brian Wheeler has got over 40 years of experience in the utilities industry. Former chief executive of Toho Water Authority. Mr. Cameron Crandall is an engineer in our water department. Please listen to them objectively. Hear what they've got to say. They've worked really hard trying to solve this problem, and I think we're at the end of the road. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Wheeler. And the second thing I was going to say was, we're going to have a question and answer session. Please, let's be respectful of each other. I know there's people upset. I don't blame you. But please, let's be respectful. Let's listen, and let's work the problem. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Brian Wheeler. Brian?
So, right there, Mr. Sturgeon's admitting that there is a problem, that it is real. He's not talking about social media boogeymen at this point because the two boogeymen that he's referring to are right here.
We were standing directly.
They were in that meeting too.
This is the thing that's so hilarious about that whole situation is that
meeting?
Any of the information that's come out since that meeting is still the same that was discussed in that meeting.
Yeah.
I have not changed any of the details that I put out there because they're facts. Yep. And if I was giving misinformation in that meeting when I was getting answers to questions from Brian Wheeler and Cameron, then you should have corrected me then.
There was opportunity
many people there.
Let's go back. We had a meeting with the mayor. Before we had the water meeting, we had the meeting with the mayor
and Cameron.
So the engineer was actually there, and we said the mayor was clueless. He had no idea of anything. So we were saying to him,
or at least acted like he didn't.
We were in a little table like this, and we were saying the facts because we did hours of research, and Cameron verified everything
we were saying.
So at that time, if you really wanted to correct us, that probably would have been the time.
Well, I think Brandy had the most poignant sentence yet. Bill Sturgeon says he's being held accountable. Clearly not. You still have a job, and I don't have clean water.
Yeah, so. This meeting was 2 years ago. You said. This meeting was 1 year ago. You said that you were coming to the end of the road. Well,
we're all starting again.
My resin in my bathwater
just started all over again.
Right. Brady, how many people have sent you dirty pictures of their water? Because that's what it is. It's dirty pictures of their water. Wow. Let's call it out. How many people have sent you pictures of their water recently?
Well, I've only actually gotten photos from one person.
Two.
Because we have
one. It was all the same house.
The one with the small child, and then the one with my neighbor.
No, not pictures. We've had people tell us.
Same, okay. But before I even went to the news a couple of weeks ago, I reached out on our Canoe Creek Lakes neighborhood page, and the post is still there. And I said, "Hey, is anybody experiencing discoloration in the water again?" And I had an array of responses. I never had that problem. It never went away. It went away for a little while, but now it's coming back with a vengeance. It got better, but it was never all the way gone. So, that's enough for me. And there was
But
I
we've
believe
heard that
like
I've heard that from a lot.
probably
It's
15 to
out.
17 responses, which prompted me to go to the news because I understand, like, if it comes to my house, for some reason my house just happens to get it worse than most, and I know that because I've lived it.
And they say it goes. That's the thing is it's not every house in the neighborhood. It's
Yeah.
somehow you get it. Then that house doesn't get
There's
it.
no-
This house
there's
gets
no
it.
rhyme or reason.
They
and
haven't
can't
figured
figure
out
why.
right,
They
how
told us.
or
Well,
why.
it's because the resin caked into the pipes, and so it's all
I
over
actually
the
have a
place in the
different.
system.
I have a different.
Yeah, it's
I have a
just-
different theory on it. I think because when it sinks down, I think it has something to do with how high or low your pipes are, and why it's only certain bathrooms and only certain house.
It's possible.
Because it's nothing. It's not even just houses. It's only certain places in your house.
Yeah.
So I have a theory that it's something to do with how high or low
the pipes are
where it's
set.
setting, where the water's set.
Well, I also am really close to a what are they called? The station, the little dump station. Is that what they're called?
Oh.
Pump station.
Yeah.
I'm like diagonal to when I can see it from my front door. So I don't know if that has anything to do with
No,
Your
it's
neighbor-
not true.
no, but your neighbor
that's
doesn't.
not
because
true.
I have it really bad, but literally my
doesn't.
neighbor to the right doesn't
No,
and
it's
hasn't
just
ever.
it's one house and then not the other, and then it's not the whole house. It's not every faucet. Some people it's just one toilet in their
Yeah,
house,
it's-
and that's what I had, just one toilet, and it would be the next day it was all orange. I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah, it's my guest toilet, which is on one side of the house, and my master bathtub, which is on the complete
And those
opposite side.
stains don't come out, right?
No,
They do.
None
No,
of
it's
us.
It
not
depends on
easy.
what
Yes,
they get into,
They
though.
do come out,
Some.
but it's not easy.
Some.
If it
And I
gets-
have shale. Actually, I have sediment, like sand, in the bottom
yeah.
of mine.
Oh yeah.
In the bottom of my tub.
Wait. We remember all that very first meeting where they said that a bunch of residents had appliance problem, that things that didn't come out.
Right.
People have some things
No,
that
there's
are
definitely
permanently
things.
damaged.
I'm talking
Washing
on-
machine, refrigerators. They're permanently stained forever. They've not been able to get. And
Like
you
my
know,
clothes.
And I don't know if we're
Yeah.
going to play it or not, but the city told all the residents, they're going to they're going to give them money and they're going to compensate them for it. Just
We
for-
also were promised, or they were. I don't know if we were promised. We discussed water filters until the problem was fixed, which
Chuck-
we never
Chuck-
heard another
Never
word
been
from.
fixed.
Chuck
Those Councilman
Cooper actually
Cooper.
recommend. Chuck
Never
Cooper
heard
went-
another
Yeah.
word. In fact, we didn't really get any update after this meeting. I mean, the things
Not
that
a
were
real one.
discussed and promised. I mean, we've heard bits and pieces. We got updates. Oh, we're doing ice picking here. We're doing, but nothing in
update
detail.
is
We've
we're
never
doing
had
ice
another
picking
meeting
on
to
this street.
discuss the
Right.
current status of the situation.
Right.
They just say we're ice picking on this street or we're flushing river on this street. They're not giving us any update.
And we're not experts here. We're
No.
just citizens.
No.
My big concern is how they're treating the citizens when
Yes.
they say, "Hey, we have a problem."
Yeah.
Don't just say, "Hey, it's misinformation," and just say, you guys are just, making it up, or just fix the problem. And if you can't fix it, go away. Let's get somebody in there that wants to fix our problem.
If people think that I want to live with water like this, they're just crazy. I mean, I don't want to bathe my child in water with resin in it, because that's what it is. It's not just discolored water. It's resin that's meant to take
a
contaminants out of groundwater.
It's a polymer.
Yeah. And they can have anybody come along and say that this is safe to drink or whatever.
There's no proof
But
of
you
that.
can go online, you can go to Google and put in My Ex Resin, and you can look at the MSDS sheet yourself. And then you can make a determination for yourself whether you want to drink this or,
Well, let's make this
I
clear.
don't.
Michelle
No, it's
and Brandy would
disgusting.
know this
was
answer.
the-
Yeah.
That they have done enough studying to know they've sat down enough to know that we're literally guinea pigs at this point in time.
Yeah.
This is not a system used worldwide. This is a system used in a few places. Number
Yes.
one. Number two, they don't have enough evidence over a period of time
Nobody was
to
supposed to have
decipher
long-term
exactly
data.
long-term data to decipher exactly what it does to your kidneys and your liver and to all those organs.
Well, and I had a lengthy conversation with the DEP when we first started all of this, and they specifically said there is no test to test the amount of resin in the
So-
water.
so just to-
and there is
there's
no
the-
determination on what is a safe amount to consume or absorb through your skin.
So there's no like, chlorine test. You can't dip it in
I
the
mean,
water and say this
there's
is how
no
much
way
resin.
to know. There's no way to know. And you know how they're going to find out?
When
Us.
we all get sick
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
because they have no way to
I
tell.
didn't sign up for that. Anybody else sign up for that?
No.
And
And
that's,
I know I'm paying my water bill.
That's because this plant was only what was there 30 in the entire world?
It
We
was
think about
30, a little over 30, I believe. 33
There was about
something
30
like
or
that.
so in the entire world when it started. When we started, no, a year ago. We looked it up a year ago. There's like 30 in the whole world.
And that's spread
When
over
research-
continents, though. That's spread over multiple
Yeah,
continents.
world, yeah.
But it started in Australia, and there's 30 in the world. There's no data then. That's like that. that doesn't give you like how many people could get sick from it. Nobody and nobody else had leaking polishers. I looked for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and I could not find one other place that had
Probably
leaking
because
polishers.
they used the steel polishers
Because they were smart
from
enough
the
to not
beginning.
use. They were using steel instead of aluminum. Which
Well, that brings me to the other part where people are coming on and they're saying, you know, on a lot of the forums that are public forums, and they're saying, well, I don't have any problem with my water. Not everybody does.
don't-
And we're
Yeah,
making that
not
very
everybody's
clear.
going to
And
be
just because
affected.
you don't see it
Right.
doesn't mean
There are
you don't
other
got
parts
it.
of our grid in our city who have never been affected by this. There's also some of us on our part of our grid that are affected by this that were not affected by the human waste that was on the water in the State Street grids. That we did experience back in September when the human waste leaked into the water as well. So everybody's experiencing different things because they're all on different polishers. It just so happens that this one's in our area here.
Well, I mean, honestly, they're two completely. One's a sewer issue. One's
Right.
one's a
correct.
potable
But for
water.
the people who come on and they say, well, I've lived here 30, 40
I don't
years.
have
I've
this
never
problem."
experienced this. That I applaud you, and I think it's fantastic.
Right.
But there are those of us who are experiencing.
What it does boil down to is their failure to reinvest in our infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Correct.
Instead, they continually up to approve thousands upon thousands of homes, adding to the burden onto our infrastructure. So
You don't need another
that's the
burden.
problem.
I actually
Let's fix what we have now instead of.
Marjorie, she reached out to me right after I had been on the news last week or the week before. I can't even remember. But she was telling me that she wanted to live in the city so that she could experience water. I don't know where she lives, but I specifically asked her about the chlorine
She
smell.
wants to live.
She
She
wanted to
wants
live in
to
the
drain
city.
resin water.
She wanted to live in the city so she would know what the citizens experience.
And we're talking about Marjorie Craig, who is the Environmental Utilities Director for the city at this
I
time.
don't even know how to take that.
That's a strange.
Yes,
Just-
exactly.
That's an odd comment.
That's a very odd
Well,
comment.
I asked her specifically. I'm not. I want to say she
So
lives
she
in
wants
the
to
grid.
suffer like the rest of us.
I think
Oh,
she
she-
lives
she
in the
probably
grid,
said, "Do you
which
wanna
is
live like
not.
this?"
I think she lives in the grid, which is not where we're experiencing a problem. First off,
But
second,
it does occur in the grid. I've had
Portions
it
of
in
it,
downtown.
portions.
It does.
Well, I specifically asked her when I was on the call with her. I said, "Okay, so we're talking about Plant 4 right now, but
Oh, yeah.
Plant 1 is the same system. It's a MIAC
made-
system as well."
And it's made of aluminum, not steel. The polisher.
Well, I don't know about that. I would have to look back. I don't know that specifically, but she did say it's a different design.
Setup?
But I just said, well, don't you think it would be proactive of you to,
Look into this.
get ahead of a problem that might occur in the future, because this has been such a big problem. You don't want to have this fixed and then the other side of the city all of a sudden have an influx of resin in that side of the city.
Because there could be the other polishers could literally have the same issue coming up. We don't know.
She did offer me at that point to do a tour of the water
Facility,
treatment
yeah.
facility.
Let's make that clear. We all want to take her up on that offer.
Yeah.
We want to be on record
because
for taking her up on that offer.
other
And I've
citizens-
toured the facilities.
When we
you know,
had
and she's-
started that page, and then we had we had that meeting at City Hall where we filled the entire City Hall with no help at all from the city. They didn't put out one flyer, one
They took
notice.
credit for it.
We literally went out and paid for Facebook ads to tell our residents about it. Walked door to door, put flyers. We did
Yeah.
to let people know about it. This is
And I've met Marjorie. She's a nice lady. She's smart, you know. And this did occur way before she was.
oh
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's
So
been
I'm not
so
discounting,
many
you know,
over the years.
I don't think she understands what the residents went through, and it's not about. Look, everybody knows this is not safe to drink. You can't put this kind of product in your body, and
If it doesn't come out of your
we just
clothes
don't want to hear
appliances-
excuses or hear that they're making up things on social media and giving misinformation. Just fix the problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem with our city. We have no transparency
Or accountability.
on any topic anytime. it
Nothing
seems
but
like.
excuses. is what it is.
Anytime.